it could be.
We're missing two. And we're recording already?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're missing Frank Feinstein and Jackie Granberry. But we do have a quorum, though. So we can move on. Rodney, if you'd like to do the invocation,
I will.
and then we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's bow. Heavenly Father, let's thank for this day you have given us. Let's thank for the opportunity to come and be a part of this commission board here. That let's hope, pray that we do things for the betterment of the community. Thank you for this day, and thank you for your Son Jesus Christ dying for our sins. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Ms. Nancy, would you mind leading us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Glad I got that right versus anything.
Oh, yeah, you was worried about leaving out a word. First order of business is the approval of the previous minutes. It's included in your packet.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion first motion is from Donna to approve the minutes, second from Lindsay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, motion passed. Beginning the meeting. Now we're here to go over these certificates. So we don't have any old business.
No, we have not.
We're going to move into the certificate of appropriateness for the four
Yes, sir.
requests.
Note that on the second request, it says 107 South Main. That needs to be 103.
Yeah,
We just need to state that for the minutes. See, 105. 105 South Main is applicant Terry Bridges. He is wanting to take awning off and replace awning. I think the demolition has already taken place of the awning. So I guess all the waiting on is some paperwork for the awning.
He did take his awning down, but he also had a letter from the city that told him that he had to take
Right.
the awning down. So,
Right.
so we
Yeah.
were good with that. Yeah, he is using Alabama awning, and the awning is like $4,000. As part of the downtown improvement grant that we are administering, we gave him $3,000, and he showed me a picture of it's a fabric awning. It looks, Alabama Awning's also doing the one next door. So if you look at that picture, you're going to get exactly the same thing. It's a canvas awning. His is red and white stripe with a blue trim on it. I think it's going to look really good for the barber shop in town. So that's really all I have to say.
Okay, like I said, I just didn't have the rest of that, to attach to there like I did with Mr. Green and them. So that's the reason why that was being brought up. So.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to be difficult, but I know we need to set a precedent either, but we've got specifics to go by. I haven't seen any pictures. I haven't seen any written description. Of course, Donna told us that he had to take it down because the city requested that. I'm not sure. I'm just throwing that on the table. But I mean, if we have procedures to go by. Do we want to set a bad precedent? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how flexible we need to be. I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen a sketch. I know that we have code that require different heights, and that falls under your purview. But for us, we're here to approve the aesthetics. So I haven't seen anything. I've got taken the office off, took the awning off, and I haven't seen anything other than that.
It would be nice to see some sort of rendering, but
So,
So let me ask a question real quick.
sure.
He needs a permit. We're trying to get the order of this, of the procedures in order. So he needs to pull a permit to put up the awning, right? So he would have to, when he pulls that permit, he would have to go by whatever your code is.
Well,
For existing buildings.
Well, of course, in the past, what procedures we have followed is anything that has to go through codes, they review this request first, and then they've come back with us with, we've approved this, and this. And
it's their
then,
recommendation.
yes, and then we look at our requirements, which are basically the aesthetics. So I don't know, I mean, is this the direction we want to go? From what I saw today, I'll be quite honest with you, from what I saw today, I didn't see anything in this packet that I felt like I could approve, because we don't have anything. We've got one sketch of an awning. Is this the awning we're talking about?
No, that's the one next door to it.
Okay. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing you out here for discussion, but I don't want to set a bad precedent, and then we get, I don't know.
I think I was going to bring it up later, so I'll just go ahead and bring it up now. Go ahead, Philip.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm Philip Grooms. I don't know if most of you know me. I'm fire chief and also assist on a daily basis with Kate, who's assistant city manager.
Yeah.
So we've talked through this, and one of the things, you guys have a lot of governing over the downtown district, which is great. But it's almost like a process that can go hand in hand. He can't give a permit until you guys give something that's appropriate. So even when we're talking about awnings or whatever, it gives you, you're right, there's specific guidelines. We dug through it. You have a lot of say in that. But there's no permit that can be issued on anything, basically, other than maybe paint, because I don't know, looking at the minutes, that wasn't really appropriate for you guys to govern paint.
Well, if it was, actually, I don't correct you, but I think it is appropriate for us to govern
And
paint.
maybe that's the only thing that I think
Yeah.
Corey mentioned. You really should look at that in a different way.
Kind of
Well, I think maybe this is,
loosely written.
Loosely written,
Where,
you're right.
where you can
So-
read, like we want it to look kind of the way it was.
Yeah.
We wanted them to get the gist, but we didn't want to give, here's our color palette, adhere to it.
So from Rodney's office, and whatever the will of the board is, I think Donna was going to bring it up. Maybe more of some administrative review on some of these smaller, simpler things. We call them smaller and simpler. Maybe he can review, and then through communication, is there any problems with me or with him approving it?
I think that that's exactly what we need to establish today, since Rodney's new to this position. We need to establish and put it in our bylaws exactly what he can approve and what he can't
Right.
approve.
Right now,
I've got some neighbors that I would love to have been able to prove the color of their houses, but anyway, I can't.
So here's one
And I don't want this to happen to downtown.
One point I think we need to make
Yeah, I know.
is Rodney cannot approve anything at this point. It has to, whatever it is downtown, has to come to you guys first. So if anybody wants to do anything, it's got to come to you guys first. So at this point, unless I'm misreading those bylaws
Well-
and even your guidelines, he has to get with you guys first with a board meeting just like this for approval, and then he can go through his regular permitting processes.
And one of the problems is that it takes so long to do it. So if somebody wants to paint, it takes it takes a week to get in the newspaper. Then it takes 15 days it has to run, and then he has to set the thing. So I understand what you're saying. Nobody wants more control down here than I do. But we also, when somebody wants to improve their building, it's a month out just because they have to come to us. And that's for everything. Now, I can understand if you have, like Valerie McDaniel's doing, she's going up with the second story. They should have to come, I feel like they should have to come to us with all the plans and everything. But a plan for, and I'm really surprised. I don't know where the Greens got their plan, their drawing.
Alabama awning.
They gave it to him. So Terry should have, but again, we don't know. I mean, this is the first time we've done this. So and there is in the design guidelines, there is a clause at the very end that says that for certain things, I forget how it goes, but there's a list of certain things that can be,
I believe what you're referring to is after your guys' approval, he can make some minor changes after approval.
oh, is that what it
Yeah, I
says?
think so. Forgive me, it's been a week or so since I've read that. But I think your hands are tied and his hands are tied. I think a recommendation from his office would be administrative controls on some of those simpler things like we're talking about tonight. We do think those are simpler. And then good communication with the applications for appropriateness email to you guys. And that way you're looking to making sure his decisions are made appropriately.
And some color photos would be nice too, other than just, the black and white drawing. So you see the color scheme, you see the whole bit.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's right. I think that's where we get into some issues here,
Okay.
These may be considered minor changes, which they are, but I think we need to have input on what they're going to look like.
Yeah, again, it's the will of
We
the board.
haven't seen anything here today on any of these.
You guys have established and you have all the rights to do what you want to. So if you don't want to do anything, it just may take months for people to be able.
Well, I
to think.
understand that. I mean,
Okay.
I'm thoroughly opposed to government overreach, but I'm also want to make sure that we're setting the right precedent here. So,
So you don't want like a Home Depot orange?
well, I don't know. I don't know what color it's going to be. Red and white stripe. I mean, is that? I don't know. I mean, is that? I know it's a barbershop, I guess, and I do understand it takes a while. I mean, we got to, we definitely have to comply with the TCA, and I want us to be as transparent as we possibly can. I know sometimes government's not quite as transparent as it should be, and I know sometimes, we don't get things done that should be done, but that's, I just want to make sure that we're going in the right direction. I'm just putting that on the table to discuss.
I agree. I noted in my notes that we didn't have any drawings, but the previous certificate of appropriateness that we saw, they brought in architects and,
Yeah, we had-
we had a lot, and these are minor, but it would be nice to see.
And I guess I agree. I don't know. I think we need to decide what's minor. So I don't know. But we also need to put your name on this instead of.
Here's the awning.
Are we going to be deciding these? I don't want to be a pain in the rear end, but I don't think this person brought this to this commission. They may have brought it to you, but we can't, I think the state sunshine law says that we've got to have open meetings and open discussions, and we can't have these kind of things discussed with me or anybody else outside of here.
Well, the reason because I'm administering.
I know you are.
So that's why I discussed it.
Sure.
I mean, I went over and took pictures before.
And I don't want to be a pain in the keister, but
So you're exactly right, and Donna's right too. We haven't done a lot of these, so we had to go back and look at everything that we put in place. So how it should work, tell me if I'm saying something wrong, the owner would bring in that application for appropriateness to his office. He would review it, then he would schedule a meeting and do all the paper and all that good stuff, and then have it for that month. We all have them on an annual basis, just when it comes in.
and you're right, Philip. I mean, this is a learning experience for all
Yes,
of us,
sir.
and especially the citizens that are trying to do this. And believe me, I'm for these people making these improvements.
Yeah.
Anything to improve this city. But it's, I just, I don't know. That was my question. Do we want to, it's clear in here exactly what's required. If you're going to do new builds, demolitions, it's here. It's right in our, so I don't know.
So that's the reason we come up with the suggestion that, and if you don't like it, you don't like it, that's fine. You have the power to do that. is give him some administrative authority to follow those guidelines, and he sends that out to you guys. Is this okay? Or we can do what we're doing now and have a meeting
Am I
every month.
wrong? But in the past, didn't we have those things to go before? codes?
We've only done one.
Yeah, but didn't it go? I
We
I
do
have
a
that material where
recommendation and then it
we
goes
got, we
back.
got the feedback from their staff and then it came to us.
Yeah, but that's not how it's written in our,
Yeah, we don't follow what you set in place.
In our bylaws?
Yeah,
yeah.
Maybe I need to go back and read our bylaws.
maybe. Just
Sort of
and I
copyright
think I
here.
went with Corey too. We got it interpreted up, and because I was like, "Is this not supposed to go?" And she said, "Yes, this way." So again, it would come in to him. He review it. He'd set up a meeting. He would
Is
cannot give a
what
building
our legal
permit.
staff said, they're supposed to do that? Is this the direction they're supposed to go?
Yeah, so so the owner occupant would bring in that application for appropriateness. He would review it. He would schedule a zoning commission just like this. If it does not require a permit, they still cannot do anything to you guys. Either give him administrative control or have a meeting. And then after that meeting, if it requires a permit, he would go through the permitting processes. And the ownings do require permits.
I have the rest of his, the Green's actual building permit in my paperwork. I didn't include it in you all's paperwork because that would be on my end of it, you know. So he filled it all out at one time whenever he submitted his paperwork.
Well, and we had a question when I talked to them, because I've been talking to all of these people about their grant, and so the procedure has been a question, and we've gone back and forth, and we weren't sure on some of them. At one time, we needed the permit first, and then the COA, and now I think we've come to the conclusion that we need the COA first,
Yes, absolutely.
and then a permit. So, and that's was through Corey, our lawyer. So she went through our bylaws, and that's what she came up with. I'm fine. We can send these back. I know that these guys have
Well,
ordered their awnings, and well, but it's 6 to 8 weeks out. So you know,
you know, I don't want to do anything to slow up the process. I'm just saying, are we going in the right direction? Of course, I obviously I've misunderstood the bylaws that we created here. I don't know. Corey didn't have any discussion with this group about the bylaws, did she? Y'all have any? Has she been here and discussed our bylaws to tell us which direction we're supposed to go?
A couple of times.
Yeah, she's here.
I mean, really,
Yeah, there were several minutes.
really?
not on this particular thing.
That's what I thought. I don't know.
Not on this
Specifically
particular thing.
more.
I don't know. Maybe it's in here and I haven't seen it. I don't know. But hey, I'm all for minor administrative things being approved.
Yeah.
But
Well, what do we have to do to make it right for these people that just submitted? Can they submit their pictures and stuff through you? And you kind of gather them together and just send it out to us? I mean, if we're going to go more informal, is that, in that way we can look at it and go, well, I like that. And we can have, I mean, I know it's not open and free for everybody.
So I hate to speak on that, but I think what you can do is you can approve it on the basis that you get the required information within a timely manner. I think it could work that way if you wish to do so.
Because we don't want to waste days or longer or weeks. I mean, we don't want to do that.
I mean, I don't think there's anything, I don't want to say that. I think you can approve it based off of more stipulations that you want to see.
Yeah, if we want to see X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
When it
Yeah.
does here say minor design guideline issues, maybe administratively reviewed, you know, so we
Yeah.
could give control over to the smaller items.
I may have missed that. But I think it was after approval though.
I might not have the whole
So,
thing.
you know, I don't know in the past. I
Gotten
don't.
You were.
Obviously, I've missed it in our bylaws where we.
Is Alabama awning doing all three awnings?
I believe so. I think Mr. Bridges,
I mean, hell, if it's on river, bring whatever.
And
and
green.
the Greens. I don't know of the
Moving forward,
fourth one.
now when
Or
you
the
come
third
in
one.
with a facade.
Third one's not on.
Was Faye Davis?
this is
Hers
what
was
you
the
need to do.
exterior of the building, correct?
We're in here, it's.
Yeah, I don't think she has them on.
Yeah, I don't think hers is
Then
on.
there's only two on here.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, hers
Yeah,
is
there's just
facade.
two on that. Hers is a
In the
whole
past, we
facade.
had to try, it went to the, they gave us their feedback on it, and then we approved the aesthetics. I don't know, maybe I just don't see it in here, but I'll go back and, you know. This is,
Here, I got it right here.
this is the administrative, we said we have
I
administrative.
remember reading that,
minor
like, yeah, we
design
could do it anyway,
guidelines.
but I thought it was after the fact, if there's some minor changes that would have to come back for any. But let me find it,
So I don't know.
while y'all still debate.
So,
Well,
it's, you
as
know,
far as paint is concerned, in the design guidelines, we did not tell them, if I remember correctly, we did not say that we could control the color of the paint.
we gave them.
I think they stated to be as close as it was originally.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It was,
Yeah.
it was kind of,
Original,
it's
you know, as
specific
close,
lines,
yes,
but not,
right. Yeah,
you're
I
gonna
think it
drop
was,
dead if
you
you
know,
don't
hey,
follow it.
go back kind of close to what it used to be,
Yeah, that's,
you know,
It's the
let's try to make
direction we
it
wanted to go.
as it was, you know, used to be.
That was a lot of our guideline discussion as
Yeah.
well. But then again, they are just guidelines. But
And like I said, I am very new to this, and I want to make sure moving forward, we all,
Yeah.
boom, we know, hey, do,
Yeah.
we're done. You
Well, I
know?
think
And we're all new.
We're all new to this. It's a
And
learning
that's-
experience for all
and
of us.
that's what-
It just,
Yeah.
we don't want to make it hard for someone, so hard that they're going to go, forget about
We don't wanna
it,
do
you know?
Oh, I agree with that
Yeah.
100%.
So,
well, I wouldn't mind going with Phillips regulation and just say it's tentatively approved pending further information.
So let me, can I read this to you guys? This is where it carries me back to every time I always look at this, and we looked at this for a few weeks. The HCZ has the power to request detailed construction plans or related data pertinent to through review of any proposed before the commission. A certificate of appropriateness, or COA, is issued by the HCZ to the owner after their project is approved. So that right there tells me everything we need to know is that you guys are you've got to approve these. What I think you can do is give him some administrative control through your authority to approve some of the whatever you guys consider minor things. I do believe, I think the minor changes is after you guys approve that. He already has the authority after your approval to change some minor things that meets the guidelines. But just initial applications, you have the authority on that. And the only way to get past that is, if you wish, to give him some authority through communication with you and make sure we're meeting the guidelines and the design efforts. And then I think it's how you guys can do it. We're not handcuffing our owner occupants over time.
What was the section that you were reading out of?
So this is the actual design guidelines, and it's basically, when you open the book, it would be the role of the Historic Zoning Commission, page 5.
Okay,
And this is.
I've got it.
Okay,
I've got it.
yeah. And then, you hang your hat on that, that's a role. You guys issue that on everything in guidelines related at this point. And you still will if you give him actually some administrative control, he's still going through you by your powers to him. On whatever you-
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at our bylaws, and in section 4, we have that discretion to give that administrative review.
Yeah, I think so.
Which, yeah, so, and I think that's what we need to
Yeah.
clarify today.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the main purpose of this meeting, is so that Rodney knows where he's going. So, yeah, and hey, I like to sort of know if somebody takes the tin off the front of that building, what they're going to put on it. But is that, I don't know how, I mean.
It was supposedly hardy board. There is a question.
Is there brick under the tin?
No.
It's brick on the side, if you go up the second
There's
level.
no brick under the tin.
What's under the tin?
It's open.
It's-
Yeah, if you,
It's just framing?
what they did was, if you see an old picture of the building, it was at an angle, it was angled back and it had shingles on it. So what they did years and years ago is they built a facade, a frame in the front, and then they put the tent on it. So there.
But if you look at it from the side, it's brick, so it's just nothing back there.
Yeah, but they've gone up in there and looked.
Yeah.
I have pictures here too.
Yeah,
Uh,
Rodney was.
there's not very good pictures.
Yeah, see, this is the
but,
first time I'm seeing any pictures or anything. I don't know. I
you
mean,
know, which that the engineering part of all of this would come through on the building
well,
permit side.
you know, there's an awful lot of discussion about this stuff that's going on outside this commission. That's, you know, I haven't seen any of this stuff. I don't know. I mean, it's
Well, we weren't really discussing.
obviously it's just in.
No,
I
because
think we need to, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't be a pain in the butt, but is this commission even necessary?
Well,
we
yeah,
weren't making decisions. We were just trying to figure out what the
I don't think
procedures
I
were.
think that under the state sunshine laws, these kind of things are not even supposed to be, you know, supposed to be discussed outside of this commission. But anyway, if y'all give Rodney all the administrative, I mean, on minor things, that's fine with me, but we'll see.
I'm amenable to giving Rodney administrative control for minor things, but
Yeah.
what is considered minor, I would think a facade would not be, in my
No,
opinion,
it's
but an
not.
awning would be.
Well, yeah, because I mean, most of the guidelines for the awning, all the height and all that come under your code. You know, so,
Yeah.
but,
So you guys, you just make sure you know that you can come to his office. You're not breaking sunshine law. Talking about just you and him one-on-one is not breaking any sunshine laws.
I'm not so sure, I'm not so sure you're right there, Philip, but we'll have to get a legal.
Well, I mean, we talk to commissioners all the time, one-on-one.
Yeah,
not,
the sunshine law is
Yes,
con-
when you're having a meeting that's not public.
Well,
With the one or more
Well,
of the same
Right.
board
It's
members.
people on the committee.
well, yeah.
If it's
well,
an
it's-
email that includes.
The,
You know, that's what I'm
gentleman-
seeing pictures today in detail I've never seen.
Well, the
And
gentleman that I talked to was the guy
obviously,
that
they've already got the plans to do, go ahead.
was Mr. Harris that was bidding on the job, and he asked me to come over there so we could talk
Okay.
about how he would move forward.
I just want
If
to make
this
sure,
project
I just want to
was
make sure
to
that
be
we're all
moved
on the same page and moving the right, the right direction.
And he would meet with Mr. Harris because it does require a building permit. So that's outside of the scope of this board, once you approve it or not approve it. If you don't approve it, then the permit
Well,
is
we're
not
basically,
necessary.
we're basically.
But once you approve it, he will go through the permit process.
You know, we're basically into aesthetics and you're into the life safety issues, and that's sort of where we are, and I don't have a problem with giving him, you know, the authority to go ahead and approve things. I don't want to be bothered because it's, those things, you know, seriously. So I'm okay with Rodney approving those things that are considered minor. But,
So I guess we just need to decide what we consider minor.
well,
Which may
you know,
only be awning.
you know, of course, you know, if the people, and I know this, you know, I don't want it to be, like I say, I don't want us to get to be ridiculous like some of the historical districts in Nashville are, where you can't change anything. But according to the original picture, Hardy Board would look better than the shingles up there, you know. So, but so I'm okay with Rodney approving the minor things.
Then let's return to June 5.
You know, and I'm not trying to be.
No, I
I'm not trying to be.
understand.
I'm not trying to be difficult, although I seem to be a pain.
expression.
I guess my concern, one of my concerns is that, you know, and this has to do with the grant. We've offered them this money for the grant.
Sure.
They're doing it because of the grant, which is what we want them to do.
Exactly.
So to force them to hire an artist to draw,
No, I agree. That's extreme.
you know, so we can see a picture of it is, to me, because we know it has to meet codes. So to me, that is a little excessive, and maybe we have to look at our COA and see if we have to have a drawing on certain items, not everything, but on certain things.
I think an awning, can't you just send me a picture of what you put up?
Alabama awning should have She'll be able to send something out like that.
Yeah,
But I'm with you. I'm not for making them hire,
Yeah.
No, we didn't- that's not our role here to make it difficult, At least,
I want to work make it as easy as possible.
Right.
And that's why I was involved with the COAs, because we'd never done it before. People that had buildings here had never been through that procedure before.
Sure.
So I was trying to work with them to make it as easy as possible to get it before this commission and then have them get their permits and let's get started on it. So,
well, then I make a motion that we give Rodney the authority to make those decisions on minor changes.
Minor changes or minor COAs?
Yeah, minor COA, yeah.
which would be, what categories?
Well, maybe we need to restate that motion.
Our recommendation would probably be awnings and signs, paint and murals. You may want to take the paint and murals out because I think you may want to have that control or authority. When you do, it's because he's going to communicate back with you before he gives any administrative control for a COA, I would believe, which would be an email with pictures and all the things required by the application. And he would probably craft that email in a way, I think it meets all our guidelines. I'm going to issue this COA along with permit or whatever if required. But that's up to you guys.
So actually, that would be eliminating this month waiting period.
Yes.
So-
Smaller things.
Small things.
Yeah, let me just ask a question. If I wanted to put an awning up and I came to Rodney and I filled out a COA and I told him this is what it's going to be, and could he send that out to us? And he has the final approval, but he gets input from everybody on this commission. And if somebody on the commission has a problem with it, could they go back to him and say, we think we need a meeting to discuss this?
I think that's sticky.
I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of, well, I mean, if you're giving him authority and it's
Yeah.
meeting the guidelines, I mean, I don't,
Okay,
I think that would be sticky.
all right.
Our recommendation would be for signs and awnings, and we probably don't want to throw paint and murals in there because that could be a sticky subject too.
Well, we had a lot of discussion on signs as well. So what's in the windows, how the height of it.
So you
know.
essentially follow our sign ordinance that's in our regular zoning ordinance. However, if there's any conflicting statements, yours does govern. It
Yeah.
does oversee or overlay the zoning ordinance. So you guys have a lot of authority for the downtown, a lot.
Let me see the picture.
Do we want to delegate that authority?
Does it have like
You do have
those
authority.
kinds of things on the
Yeah,
front?
you're delegating. You're responsible to delegate.
I don't know.
Okay, I thought you showed him the red
I don't
one.
know, but how much
It's
that
just
would
the
be on the other?
material, the canvas, is what they
You know,
Okay, so it looks straight on the front.
is a different color board here.
I don't know, I mean,
Yeah, that's
I'm
pretty much
I'm not trying to be difficult, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page, or, you know,
What the old method is right.
cameras, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, I saw that one.
But, you know, I'm okay with any of these things
Because
going on.
they're going to
I
do
mean,
it
I'm okay
right,
with it,
you know?
but
Well, and any of the businesses that are doing changes, they're getting
It just seems like
pictures from the company.
yeah, I know, I agree, I agree, no, I agree 100%, you know, but I'm just sort of trying
It's
to.
way too much of a timeline.
I agree.
Everything we have to do.
Okay.
I'm glad we're
Go back to
finally getting
105
somebody to
Main
spend this
Street.
grant money, Donna.
I'm ready to spend it. Pushing and trying to get it. So that was why,
So.
like I
do we
said,
need-
that was why
do we
we
need to
were
vote on each
talking.
one of these individually?
I don't think so.
Do we? I think we should.
I
Should we do
believe
it
so.
individually?
I think we should.
And, or do you do it as a group and say this group is approved, pending some kind of visual?
So
Well, we have one visual, so
We have
we
one
can,
visual.
we can.
I would go through each one of your agenda items and approve them, and then if you want to add something, a caveat to it, add it, and then I don't think there should be any issues, but you should approve them all individually.
Okay.
And then in new business, go back to your conversation, and if you want to do something different with administrative.
All right,
All right, let's not.
go back to 105 then. I make a motion to approve the removal of the awning and replacing it with the red, white, and blue, which is the right one, or the green, whichever the awning is that we discussed, but
Which number are you on?
105.
Oh, 105 South Main.
It's South Main.
And I think that we can have Terry submit a picture of the awning and the description from Alabama awning,
Yeah,
just like the Greens have.
And like I say, once he submits that, I will be more than happy to forward it to all you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all.
You know,
Yeah.
I second that motion.
We have a motion on the table to approve 105 South Main Street removal and replacement of awning. By Lindsay Barrier, second by Bob
Don Dodson.
Dodson.
Don Dodson.
The last name, and I've written it down too, right here. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes.
next item on the agenda, it states 107, but we need to push that to 103 South Main. There's a typo right there that I made. It's for the South Main Street removal and replacement of awning. That is the old Mount Pleasant Record Building, Mike and Pat Green.
There is no awning on there,
No,
so it's not a removal. It's just
they have already taken it down several times ago, a while ago,
Okay.
and
I don't remember.
there's pictures. I didn't add these pictures in there of when where the awning was. You can see the difference of the brick on how that protected the brick layer out there.
We know, they're all made by Alabama awning, all of these, we think.
Yes,
Yes.
both of these are all of them.
Do we know what color this one's gonna be?
I'm wanting to say he told me black and green maybe, or it had a black border around the edge of it.
He went back. They have researched that building. That was the Mount Pleasant Record.
Okay,
And they have done research on the building, and they're taking it back as close as they can possibly get it. So it's
okay, that sounds good. I'll make a motion that we approve the installation of the awning at 103 South Main Street.
We have a motion on the table by Don Dobbins.
Dodson.
Second
Motion.
And I have for the installation of an awning at 103 South Main Street, recommended by Mr. Chris Gerben. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed.
Next on the agenda is 103 Public Square for facade improvement. This is Miss Faye Davis building. They're wanting to remove the 10, formerly known as the Kinzer building. They want to remove that 10 and replace it with hardy board.
I would like to see some photos on that. You may already have it somewhere.
Just can't read.
Yeah, that's
Just
okay.
because the metal was such a big deal, to everybody that it was an eyesore. I wouldn't mind seeing some photos. I mean, I know they're cleaning up the wood behind it, and it's very specific.
Yeah, that's
It's nice.
normal picture, Chris, when we get into something like that.
Yeah, it's from the major stuff.
Hardy boards.
I like how you do.
I like hardy boards too, maybe.
well, and we already approved Hardy Board as a
it's a
for
little
the
one.
McDaniel building.
Yeah.
So it would be if that's what they can put back there. And there's some question about it once we approve it, it's going to have to go before the they're going to have to pull a permit, and there's some question on whether they can put Hardy Board there because of the weight of it. Or they're going to have to do some structural support there. So I mean, I don't see how we can turn down Hardy Board, but they still have to meet the codes for the.
Well, yeah, you're right, exactly right. We have set a precedent. We did approve the hardy
Yeah,
board for
we
that
did.
building. It makes a heck of a lot better than the 10, so,
Yeah.
Actually would.
yeah.
And there's really no way to get a picture of what it's, for her to get a picture of what it's going to look like.
Yeah, I
Is
mean,
there?
we're talking about, even though it's $16,000, we're talking about something that's fairly minor, but, I don't know what it would cost her to get, the professionals come in here.
she's going to have a rendering of what it looks like. But
Yeah.
if we consider that minor for this particular one,
Oh, I don't know. That's where we get into that. I don't know. It looks, yeah, that's where we get into that real fine line. I don't
Well,
think
this is
this
for
is more than
demolition
minor,
though,
actually.
correct?
Sir?
This is just a demolition. This is not the new base going back on it.
Yeah, this is what,
And that's where,
she's going to replace it with all this. I mean, it's,
Hardy board.
Everything
It just didn't-
demolition.
I know she says demolition, it's just on this certificate of appropriateness. It's just
yeah.
checked off as demolition, and it's demolition and new installation is what it is.
Because this is where I guess the COA and building permits are colliding a little bit. We did look that up. To be able to do that without engineering or a different way, they can only go 5% of the weight of that 10. Well, hardy board is obviously going to be more than 5%. So conversations with him and Mr. Harris, can it be engineered? Can we do it in a way where he feels like it's structurally sound with the hardy board? That's where the building codes come in. So if it is a change, I would assume that would have to come back before you get.
Right.
If it's not hardy board. If
Right.
you're going back with something else, you guys may see this again.
Right.
But it may be engineered in a way or through building code where you can still do the hardy board. I just know currently you can't because of what code says in the 5% of what's already there. What's the way it's already existing built. So that's what it's led us to, an existing building code.
And then we know what color they're going to paint the hardy board. I mean, you got to go you had to go up my street, man. I've got some crazy colors on my street. Well, they tried to change, but anyway, it's, I mean,
That's so we can give people directions to get to our homes.
okay, I'm good then.
I think, well, and this isn't talking to Ms. Davis. She's going to leave the hardy board the regular color, which is that white color that it comes in. Just
Like
like
the whitish cream.
it's like on Breckenridge Baby.
So,
That's the same thing.
yeah, you can get it pretty much any color you want.
Oh, well, what she told me is she doesn't want to have to paint every 5 years.
Lindsay, it's just where we get into that little fine line between what's minor and what's not. I don't know.
Well, I think you can do the same thing
conversation.
here if you're in agreement as a board,
Right.
if they're going to be able to use hardy board, there's some permit issues,
Right.
and you're confident that it's going to be white, I think you can put those in place with approval for this. If it's what she said and she's confident with that. If there's a change there, I guess it'd come back before you guys, and it may have to anyway, depending on where the permit process goes.
right.
So we could put this, we could approve this with the stipulation that the color has to be approved.
That's going to require another meeting.
Our meeting, unless y'all give him some authority.
If when we get down here, we do give the,
Yeah.
I hope you have good
Well, you
taste.
don't approve any purple, pink,
Okay.
but why don't we, would it be appropriate to have Rodney and one of the committee members do it?
To me, if somebody was to submit a color, I would email it to y'all and say, hey, so-and-so is asked for this color on this building. I see nothing wrong with it. What is the consensus of the board?
And that's,
And that way, you all have the input, but we're still not having to go through setting up a meeting
Yeah.
15 days.
That's kind of what I was
And, you know,
I agree with that.
As long as we're all
That's the way to go.
makes sense to me.
Yeah, and back our concurrence and you
Yeah.
can.
And you're right, and you could be split 3-2, and he's going to go with the 3 that was majority, and
Right.
hopefully the other 2 are okay with that because you did get the authority to make that decision. Okay.
As long as we're all on the email, it's considered a meeting for us anyway. We're all included.
yeah, that'd be no problem at all.
That'll work.
And that speeds things up with all these different ones here, where they're not having to wait for, a month, 2 months, or.
so is everyone okay with this?
All right.
I make-
Motion.
I make a motion that we approve the 103 Public Square. Is there, as written, we need to come back to,
So for this particular one, because you haven't got down to the new business yet, I would approve it for hardy board and condition of white. What I would do. And if it changes, maybe you have authority, maybe not, by the time you get to the.
so, I make a motion that we approve the 103 Public Square with hardy board with the stipulation that it is a white, off-white color.
We have a motion on the table, Donna Morenzi, to approve 103 Public Square for a facade improvement per their application of appropriateness with the stipulation of hardy board being white.
Flash cream. I'll second.
We have a second by Lindsay Barrios. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed.
Next on the agenda is 305 North Main Street, construction of outside awning. That is the Mayan Riviera, Mr. Cruz.
Yeah, and they're withdrawing that for this meeting. Just because they were supposed to come up with dimensions, we have nothing from them. So,
Yeah,
And I would like to see-
You're asking for a lot. You haven't provided anything.
Well, and I would like to see, a rendering of that. I mean, it may just, be written down, but is it in the front? Is it in the back? Is it on the side? Do they have to add more parking, which is not, code, that's more codes, but
Listen, what this one of those minor things we can let him approve?
no.
no,
It's not?
no.
It's like an inside basket. Okay, he said something was written.
They coming here?
Better run.
Sure, they sound like it.
Yeah, it's up to probably across the street.
So they've withdrawn this one, huh?
Yeah, for this meeting, just because they don't have the information.
Okay.
They didn't have the size, they didn't have the materials, they didn't have, so.
It's still a dream.
Well, they were supposed to get that stuff and they
Yeah.
just haven't done it yet.
Okay, removed from this meeting.
That concludes that portion of the meeting. Now it's time for new business. And we need to talk about the delegation of authority, Rodney, and his crew, about what, constitutes minor.
Yeah.
And I think over the course, minor is going to change. Our definition of minor will change as we grow and get used to what's going on. Because this is our first endeavor, if you will. So, what are your feelings, Mr. Rodney?
Just back to the majority of what was on the agenda, these awnings. We have a standard through the building code that they have to follow anyway.
Right.
I would like to see this office being able to get the COAs and just emailing them to you guys and say, hey, this is what is proposed. It meets all of our standards. What is the feel of the board on granting this CO or COA for this? For the awning.
Yeah, if we're doing the awning, it's just the color, a picture of the color
Yes.
or whatever, and just say, like we were talking about.
Yeah.
Because I think there will be a lot more once this downtown revitalization stuff kicks off. There's going to be more that comes up.
Well, we have 10 of these under this grant.
Right.
So, and these are the first 3 that we have. So if we can figure out how we want to do it and get it, I think it'll go a lot smoother.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I just want to be very customer based friendly here.
Right.
So that way they have an avenue to come and do stuff in kind of timely manner.
Now, on our signs, we have in our design guidelines, we have some sign guidelines. I mean, I think, I would be fine with Rodney doing the same thing with those that he was doing with the paint colors of the, so I would say awnings, paint, and signs.
As far as sending the CO or COA to you guys through email with details.
Or making the executive decision if something changes. But yeah, I agree. Paint, awnings, and signage.
No, there's not a color palette. It just
Yeah.
stated as close to as original as possible. Nothing just no neon green.
Yeah, basically, we don't want purple and pink.
Those are the colors in my head too.
Exactly.
So,
Lime green would be frowned upon as well.
so I mean, if somebody wanted, like Veritas, that building was originally white. They painted it that dark gray. I think it looks really good. I would not turn them down. I would not have turned them down to paint it that color. What about you guys?
No,
It looks good to me.
Yeah, I think it looks really good. So,
no, I agree. I mean, I think we need to make it as easy for
Yeah.
our citizens to improve this town.
Please.
Like we can. I mean, I just, in my earlier discussion, I just want to make sure we're going in the right direction. We're all on the same page. I don't have a problem with Rodney approving all these things,
okay. So, it's, I don't think Rodney would approve something that
You're not
was
colorblind, are you, Rodney?
turquoise.
You're not colorblind, are you?
No, I'm just kidding.
But,
No, there would be nothing that I would sign off on until, I send it through email to the board. To get the consensus on that. And it'd just take the 30 days or 15 days for the meeting set up, and it just takes that extra lag of time out of the process.
Yeah.
Right.
And you all have the authority to let me do that.
Yeah, I think so. Make sure we're on the same page. When he sends it out to you, he's asking for feedback from the board.
Not permission.
Right. He's asking for feedback from the board on what he's said to you guys.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to
So
approach
that's that
it.
permission.
No, yeah, I just want to make sure they understand. You give him that authority. He is going to work off
Right.
what's in front of him. He wants to communicate with you guys, and he wants feedback from you guys. And you can tell a lot from feedback from 5 different people.
Yeah.
I think it's the best way to construct that.
It's actually 7.
Oh,
There's 2
Yeah.
board members not here.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'll make the motion. I'll make a motion that we amend our, is it our bylaws
bylaws.
to allow the codes director to have power to make decisions for this committee on awnings, signs, and paint.
I'll second.
I second that too.
All right. We have a motion on the table to amend our bylaws to allow the codes director the authority to make minor decisions regarding signs and paint on COA, on COAs that are brought before him. That was brought by Donna Morenzi, second by Chris.
Should that say within the HCC guidelines?
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
he's going to follow guidelines.
I know. Yeah. I just didn't know whether it needed to be in there.
any more new business?
You can vote.
Oh, we didn't vote on that? All in favor? Any opposed? No. Motion passes. And one of those do.
Well, if there's no additional discussion, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
We have a motion from Mr. Dobson that we adjourn.
No, second.
And Ms. Barry, your second to it, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
But if you look at all the minutes,
Thank you, gentlemen.